Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and especially to our witnesses, thank you for being before us today to address this absolute crisis here across our country and in Minnesota's 2nd Congressional District that I represent. You know, families across America are suffering unthinkable losses as a result of these drugs. I know firsthand that our nation's public safety and healthcare professionals are on the front lines of this battle. In November of last year, I was on a ride-along with the Shakopee Police Department in my congressional district. Our first call of the night led us to the scene of a public drug overdose, where I watched Officer Soto and 2 of her colleagues literally bring a young man back to life from the bathroom floor of a family restaurant. I know that's just another night in the line of work that they're in, but addiction, mental health, and other challenges have stretched them thin. We in Congress owe them both the utmost respect and the conviction to address and fight these issues, or we face the possibility of losing countless more lives to this opioid crisis. We owe the parents, the grandparents, the friends and family of all that were not saved the responsibility to address these issues in a comprehensive way and not use these tragedies as another political wedge issue. Look, I know this is complex. Congress doesn't do complex very well. I've learned that in my first 4 years in Congress. And I'm disappointed this morning that my Republican colleagues, some of them, have decided to use this hearing as a partisan pulpit rather than address this as a forum to talk about bipartisan solutions to this deadly epidemic. Yes, we have to disrupt the flow of these drugs and their raw materials into our nation. Yes, we have to ensure that Customs and Border Patrol have what they need in order to detect and seize these drugs at our border. Yes, we must permanently schedule these drugs as Class 1. And yes, we have to figure out what to do about social media companies across our nation that are promoting on Snapchat and other platforms these drugs to our young people. And yes, we have to treat addiction across our nation. You know, we sit up here this morning and we ask you single questions in 5 minutes, and none of those individual questions encapsulates the enormity and complexity of these issues. So I'm going to just start with this, and I only have about 1 minute for each answer. But first of all, the legal ports of entry, what else do you need to keep them from getting from our nation in the first place? What do you need from Congress? Dr. Delana, Mr. Delana, or Mr. Chester?
Thank you, Congresswoman, for your question and for sharing that story of your ride-along and the heroic actions of the men and women in law enforcement that day. That's a scene that I've seen play out personally in all the communities that I've served. I know that first responders are doing that same exact duty all day, every day, and we're seeing it in communities throughout the entire United States. What we need is the permanent class-wide scheduling of fentanyl-related substances. That's a critical step for us as we move forward. I'd like to thank Congress for the enhancements that came to our budget last year. That's very important to us. DEA's operations that I mentioned, Operation Overdrive and One Pill Can Kill. One Pill Can Kill, not just an enforcement operation, but an actual outreach and awareness program that's having such impact in all of our communities. And the counter-threat teams that I talked about. We need the support of Congress to be able to continue to move forward. We want to stay ahead of these cartels when it comes to our infrastructure, our digital and data. We need that support to be able to stay ahead of those violent, ruthless drug cartels.
Thank you so much. And just one more time, why do we need to treat this as a public health topic? Why do we need a public health solution?
Thank you for that question. Certainly it affects all aspects of public health, communities and schools, as well as employment, the GDP, as well as crisis services. We would like to address this on several fronts as it affects all aspects of our lives.
Thank you so much. And with that, Mr. Chairman, unfortunately, my time has expired. I yield back.